What's going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Abaidi here. Hope all of you guys are having a wonderful day today. Let's go ahead and dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content for today. I'm really excited to make this video, guys. We're going to be talking about Ethereum and why I see Ethereum rising exponentially over the next couple of years, especially in 2018. And this is all going to come from knowledge that I've obtained from cryptocurrency experts that have done a lot in the industry. I actually have a friend of mine, his name is Yazan. He actually started Gibril Network, and it's an ICO that raised over $10 million, and they've done very well for themselves. And he actually gave me this perspective at first, and then as time progressed and some of my mentors have talked to me about cryptocurrency, I've realized that there's this common thread among a lot of these cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and it's all about Ethereum and why Ethereum in the long run is a very stable currency. And I am just so excited, guys, to talk about Ethereum with you guys. And it's not even considered a currency, to be honest with you. It's also considered something that can add value to the cryptocurrency and blockchain market. So first, let's do our technical analysis here. I do want to talk about a lot of different things here because I took a lot of articles down, a lot of resources. I went through and I did a lot of studying on this to make sure I can bring you guys a very simple idea of what's going to happen in the future for Ethereum, in my opinion, and why I'm actually putting in a position here in Ethereum. I'm going to be using dollar cost averaging with this position. So every week, I'm actually going to be putting in a position of the same amount. If you guys don't know what dollar cost averaging is, it's very simple. We can actually pull up the definition here. Dollar cost averaging, and they have a really good definition here. So DCA is an investment technique of buying a fixed dollar amount of a particular investment on a regular schedule. So that means, let's say you have $100 every single Monday at 12 p.m. You want to buy Ethereum or whatever coin you're doing dollar cost averaging with for $100 every single Monday, and that's what the technique is. And what that does is, regardless of the share price, the investor purchases more shares when prices are low, because for $100 and when Ethereum is, let's say, $100, you're going to get one Ethereum, but when Ethereum is $200, you're going to get 0.5. So you're purchasing more when prices are low and fewer when prices are high. And you're not necessarily doing any sort of chart technical analysis when you're doing that. You're just doing it as a long-term investor. And I really like using dollar cost averaging when I'm looking at something long-term. So that's pretty much what I'm doing with Ethereum. If we do look at the technicals, though, over the past couple of hours and weeks and days, you can see there is an ascending triangle forming here. If you guys are on our Discord, this is a free resource open and available to each and every one of you guys. The link is in the description below. I highly encourage each and every one of you guys to get on Discord. We have a huge chat channel here. We have over 4,000 members now, and now we actually just created this new Trading 101 area, and we're continuously updating that so you guys can actually learn the charts, understand how trading works. So this is an ascending triangle, as you can see, and pretty much exactly what we're seeing here is what's happening right now to Ethereum's chart in the technical aspect of it. So I don't want to talk too much about the technicals, though, because I really want to dive deep into really what the technology is doing over the next couple of years and why I believe Ethereum is going to be the best, most stable investment, in my opinion, for myself. And for you guys, this is a perspective. Once again, this isn't trading advice. You can't give trading advice legally. However, what I'm going to tell you right now is, for me personally, my long-term positions are in Ethereum. I'm definitely going to be adding Ethereum to my portfolio over the next couple of weeks, along with Bitcoin, of course. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the basics here. I'm not going to get into too much of the actual network analytics and the nodes and just all of the other aspects of Ethereum, because I know there's so much we can delve into, but I do want to look at their website really quick. So obviously, Ethereum, they have a website, talks all about their platform. You guys can check the website. All of the references that we're going to be using today are in the description below. But they have a regular website, just like any ICO starts with, right? So what's cool, though, I actually found this Reddit article here that really put it into simple terms. If you guys are asking what is Ethereum, this really puts it into the most simplest terms I've seen it. This is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. ETH uses smaller block times and an adjustable scaling solution using block gas limits. What does that mean? That means it doesn't require a software upgrade, still only effective to a certain point, of course, but it's not like where Bitcoin has to have a software upgrade. Well, now with the Lightning Network, they're trying to almost implement kind of like how Raiden is working with Ethereum. However, that's already implemented with Ethereum. They have scaling solutions. As you know, every time Ethereum does an update, let's say their update is targeted towards increasing transaction speeds. If you look at the transaction speeds, immediately when the update is complete, the transaction speed it increases. And even with their scaling, when they wanted to actually scale out a little bit more, you saw that block sizes were immediately affected. So it's really cool, the fact that it's almost like an instantaneous upgrade for Ethereum. It's unlike a lot of currencies, like when Bitcoin had SegWit 2x, I didn't see much of a difference automatically. It took time to really see the difference there. And it's because of how these platforms are built. So Ethereum allows for the creation of decentralized apps to run on the blockchain. This is another big aspect. This is actually what my friend Yazan was telling me about. He said, dude, you have to understand, Ethereum is holding all of these ICOs. Almost 90% of all tokens are running off of the ERC 2.0 network, the blockchain, and they're using those tokens. And what's happening is you have all of these new platforms, these new companies, all these ICOs coming out on Ethereum, but people are focused on the companies versus the actual backbone of what's allowing those companies to create an initial token release or initial coin offering. And what's interesting to know is Ethereum has been such a low-key discussion point within the press and within the community, in my opinion, compared to things like Ripple and Litecoin and so forth that you've seen these parabolic gains with. I feel like people are just almost undermining Ethereum, and I like that. I like to go for something that not everybody's going for. Observe the masses and do the opposite. That's a saying that my mentor has really built inside of me, and I am observing the masses, and nobody is talking about Ethereum. Now, obviously, that there's, it's safe to say that there are some people talking about it, but for the most part, I think more people right now are focused on Ripple and Litecoin and all of these different alts versus looking at, hey, well, what is actually creating this? And here's a really good point that my friend Yazan brought up about Ethereum, and this blew my mind. This really made me understand it at a whole nother level. He said, Naeem, guess what is the most diversified asset class right now in cryptocurrency? I said, well, there's not a hedge fund or an index yet, so I don't know. And he said, it's Ethereum. I said, why? He said, because all of these other platforms are built on Ethereum, therefore it's automatically being diversified. And what that means, Ethereum almost acts like its own index, its own, it acts as its own diversification asset, because at the end of the day, if there is a platform running on the ERC 2.0 tokens and it's successful and it's on the Ethereum blockchain, Ethereum automatically succeeds. It's almost like Linux, right? Linux is running in the backbone of most of our computers. Whether you're running Mac, whether you're running Windows, Linux was probably the reason you have what you have right now. A Mac OS is pretty much a beautified version of Linux. So I see Ethereum like the Linux of blockchain and cryptocurrency. And what interests me about Ethereum is the fact that we're already seeing use cases, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm looking at this as a value investor. There's two types of investors. If you have a pen and paper right now, you can write this down. There's a value investor, and there's almost like a day trader is what I call them. Somebody that wants to get in on the swings, buy in at the dump, sell at the highs, buy at the hype, sell at the news. But then there's a value investor that's like, okay, I want to actually invest into like the Amazon of blockchain so that when it does become like Amazon, you'll obviously reap the benefits of that. So that's what I'm doing with Ethereum. I'm going to be adding this to my portfolio every single week. I'm going to be dollar cost averaging, and I'm literally going to just buy a specific amount every single week because I see it as a long-term investment. We'll also talk about the risks of that, especially with this overvalued market, because there is a potential risk, but that's what stop losses are for. So if you guys watched our video yesterday on how to trade in a Bitcoin bubble, then you guys understand how to utilize stop losses to ensure that you don't have many losses. So let's kind of continue on what we're talking about here. I do want to get into more of the Ethereum, the company itself, as well as the developers. This is really interesting. So Ethereum has the largest developer base of any blockchain, has multiple groups working on infrastructure scaling solutions, the most promising roadmap and timeframe for the scaling solution. So what that means is they have a roadmap, they have scaling solutions, and we've already seen Vitalik, who has created Ethereum, implementing these updates and really working towards the future development of Ethereum. It's really ahead of every single smart contract applications, blockchain program versus Ethereum. Almost like you have Neo, you have Stellar that is enabling smart contracts, but Ethereum is really ahead of the pack right now. And that's what I really like about Ethereum, why I'm actually, going to make it a major part of my portfolio. And then if we continue this, it says Ethereum also handles more transactions than just about all decentralized cryptocurrencies put together. So that right there can start really delving into your brain into, this is serious. This is something that could really, have mass adoption over the next couple of years. And that's really what I love to invest in. It's something that can have the potential of mass adoption because that's where things go parabolic. So what's interesting though, if we pull up the coin market cap here of Ethereum, you can see we're at $761. What I do like about Ethereum is the fact that its Bitcoin valuation, its Satoshi value has been pretty stable to a certain degree compared to a lot of other coins. As you can see, it's not taking big spikes over the past couple of months since July when we saw that big drop. We saw that huge hype into Bitcoin. What's cool though, if you look at volume here, it goes from 870 million, touches a billion, and then it just starts jumping. And this is really when they started adding new protocols, updating the system, and it goes from a billion to just bam, 2 billion, 4 billion, 3 billion, and then I think 4 billion something in 24 hours was the highest it hit so far. I definitely see that upgrading over the next couple of months. That's another reason I think 2018 is going to be great for Ethereum. And in terms of price movement, as you guys know, as a value investor, when we saw the price decline and correct, it went right back to where it was with our previous correction. So I like that it's finding support around this level of looks like to be $670-ish. I would have to look at more of a technical chart to really delve into that. But I like how it looks. There's nothing wrong with it. Circulating supply is at 96 million. They can only create a limited amount of coins every year. So I think it's 18 million coins, which is almost like how the U.S. dollar works. There's a certain amount that can be printed. Who knows if the federal government is following that rule? Because there's really no limit to what they want to do. Of course, there's a lot of regulations intact with the U.S. government. But the fact that circulating supply here is still 96 million, they only can create up to 18 million. That shows me, okay, they do have plans for future scalability, and that is already a working system. So it's going to work here. If it's working in a centralized approach, it will work in a decentralized approach. So volume, as you can see, just through the roof, 2 billion here, market cap at 73 billion. And I like that. I like the technicals about it. I like the fact that it's already seeing a lot of mass adoption. I like the fact that it's ranked number 2, but that can also hinder a lot. So I want to talk about the negatives and the positives, not just the positives, because we can just be Mr. Optimistic, but we also have to be a realist here. And that's what I want to show you guys. So let's kind of transition into this really quick. This is pretty much an article that I found, and it was written by the Coin Journal, but it was talking about the Ethereum co-developer Joseph Lubin, which a lot of people don't really hear from. And I really like taking quotes from people that are actually within the project rather than just taking news articles and then reading what this biased individual wants to say about whatever specific subject. So I want to show you a little bit of why the team is what it is and what the co-founder Joseph has said about his own project, because you see this crazy market where you've got founders of coins selling off all of their coins, but that's just not something you see with Ethereum. It's almost building like a Ripple type of team where it's like a professionalized, market-induced team focused on mass adoption, because you need to have standards and protocols. So this is what Joseph Lubin says. Our world is very exciting. We are not enormous proponents of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. We are happy to see it succeed and break through. The Bitcoin application is really just the first application on blockchain. I agree with that. We had Ethereum built a decentralized application platform. What does that mean? It's almost like, think of an app store, but decentralized. So people can build apps on top of it on a general purpose global world computer blockchain. Talking about the app store, think about this. If you weren't able to download apps on your iPhone, would you really want to get an iPhone, right? Probably I wouldn't. Why would I want, if I can get a Google phone and actually download apps, and then the iPhone, so apps actually make up a lot more of our decisions than we think, because apps allow you to access, that's really what it is. It allows you to access applications on an everyday normal basis that you would have typically have accessed through the web version. So applications are important. It's going to be very important in a decentralized way as well. And Ethereum is obviously the leader in application development in blockchain and decentralized ledgers. So on a general purpose global world computer blockchain, we are excited about many applications beyond Bitcoin. Obviously, they have a vision, and you can just tell this individual, Mr. Lubin, he's very calm and he knows where they're going. And that's something you want to see in a team. It's really important to see who is developing this technology. So Ether can be a more programmable form of money. We conceive it as a crypto fuel because it powers these programs on the world computer. We're going to see lots of new projects pioneering lots of new techniques. The Ethereum project has been incredibly agile in the incorporation of new technologies. We already have tremendous network effect behind us. That is the reason I'm going long on Ethereum. Guys, they already have a tremendous amount of network adoption and applications and use cases being used as we speak. As you guys know, you guys have heard of CryptoKitties in the past, and this was a tweet that actually I wanted to show you guys. So Evar tweeted, number of people working on Lightning in total, less than 10. I went ahead and verified that. CryptoKitties team, 18. So, and this pretty much was belittling the idea that Bitcoin development needs to progress, of course, which I agree with, but Ethereum in general has just been on it. So here's something that not a lot of people know about. It's ERC 721, and that is a proposed update. It's a proposed, it's almost like how we have the ERC 2.0 tokens. This wants to create its own intermediary here, and it's very different, of course. They actually are focusing on, as you can see, we can emulate rare collectible items with Ethereum tokens, and each of these tokens follows a novel standard in the Ethereum community known as ER721, and it all has to do with fungible assets. So if you guys want to read that, you can read it in the description below. But what is CryptoKitties, right? Everybody's like, well, CryptoKitties has been in the news. Why is it in the news? It's because it's taken up a lot of Ethereum's network and it's congesting the network. But what's cool about CryptoKitties is the fact, and Vitalik actually tweeted this, he said, it's cool because it's showing you that there is actual use cases of this technology. And as you can see, CryptoKitties is a game in which players can buy, sell, trade, and breed digital cats. They can be thought of as breedable Beanie Babies, and that each cat is unique in some way. That has to do with the blockchain aspect. This uniqueness makes the CryptoKitties extremely collectible, as someone could take interest in the characteristics of several kittens and wish to own many of them. And there's kittens that are worth, like, I think over 100 Ethereum, which is a lot of money, over $100,000. So that shows you different use cases that are currently occurring within the general market. And we haven't even touched institutional markets and businesses, because that's the whole back end where Ethereum's already doing a lot of work. As you guys can see here, this is another article here I want to read out to you guys. This is something on the Motley Fool, and it talks about everything you need to know about Ethereum, but this is the negative side. So you guys are like, all right, you're hyping this up, Naeem. You're talking about Ethereum. Why are you talking about it? It's because it's on my mind. I want to just share my perspective with you guys. This is what's on my mind. This is what I'm doing, and that's what I'm obligated to do for you guys, right? So what is the negative side of this? This is the most negative actual logical points that I found, and we'll kind of talk about them right now. Number one, there are no guarantees that Ethereum has the preferred blockchain among businesses or that blockchain uptake will immediately put into play. The barrier to entry and developing blockchain is exceptionally low, with the time, money, and a team to code being all that's needed to enter this space. So what they're saying pretty much here, number one, Ethereum has the preferred blockchain among businesses. It's saying that not businesses don't already prefer Ethereum, and I completely disagree. As you guys can see, when you look at the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, if you guys don't know what this is, you can just read this. Enterprise Ethereum Alliance connects future 500 companies, startups, and stuff. It's basically a platform where you have all of these other major companies connecting into the Ethereum, knowledge base to understand how they can incorporate that technology within their own businesses. And you've got big players like Microsoft, Intel, JP Morgan using this, BP. So this right here, in my opinion, has already been thrown out the window. Obviously, there are people preferring Ethereum over other blockchain programs among businesses. So number two, blockchain uptake will immediately be, it's talking about that pretty much the technology is not going to be put into play over the next couple of years, right? Here's my opinion on this. At the end of the day, you have to understand when Amazon started in 1996, don't quote me on that, it was more or less 1996, Jeff Bezos was, he was on the news and people were making fun of him. They were like, why are you selling books online? You really think you're going to build a company off of that? And look what Amazon has turned into. Guys, we're going to see people downplay the technology. We're going to see people downplay how fast this is going to be adopted. But at the end of the day, I think, my personal opinion is we're going to see this happen a lot faster than we think. Therefore, that's why I think Ethereum is a great, great long-term hold for me personally, and I'm excited to continue on that path. As you can see, there's some consolidation, but see, with dollar cost averaging, that isn't really what you're focused on. You're not focused on charts. You're focused on, all right, is this technology going to work? Now, I do want to talk about, hey, if you are investing in something, right? For me personally, I always set up stop losses. So, at the end of the day, we may be in a bubble market and that can crash tomorrow. Of course, that's something that we all know of. You guys have seen these huge rallies over the past couple of months. So at the end of the day, any stock, or I said stocks, any sort of trades that you make, I would highly suggest stop loss orders at this point, guys. For me personally, I've set up my stop losses right here under this previous support level around this area because I'm holding this long. I don't mind if it just kind of builds a channel around this level. If it does go beyond that, I am going to sell my position because that's more than I'm willing to lose at this point. and I'd rather just kind of wait. And that's not typical dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging says you just continue to buy. But at the end of the day, in a bubble market, rules can change. And not saying that it is going to crash. However, there is a possibility. I think that as we go and continue to increase in market capitalization, as you can see, we're at 600 billion. I think that we're going to see a lot of these coins increase. I can see Ethereum, for me personally, passing $1,000 very soon. I don't see why not. I mean, it's not a crazy amount of supply, 96 million. It's not in the billions, nowhere near the billions. Volume is huge. Obviously, it's already at a really huge market cap valuation. However, I think because all of these platforms are running off of Ethereum, it truly has that potential. So I'm really excited to start really diversifying my portfolio and adding Ethereum to it, because I just wasn't that fond of it at first until, the experts really instilled that into me, understanding. And it's not just my friend Yazan. I mean, I talked to many different experts just whenever I can get access. I may be going to Singapore soon as well for a blockchain conference that I was invited to, thankfully, and I'm very grateful for that. To have this opportunity to get around people of that higher caliber, because at their levels, I mean, they're at levels that I don't believe I'll ever be at. I mean, in terms of the fact that they've created their own blockchains, they've actually had the opportunity to really already advance technology within their own knowledge. That's just something that takes a genius, And my mentor always said, genius is right on the brinks of insanity, and I think it takes a certain type of individual. And they're very talented. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more of my thought process on Ethereum as an investment long term. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully you liked this type of video. What I want to hear from you guys is, what is your thoughts on Ethereum? Put it in the link or put it in the description below. If you guys aren't on our Discord, once again, this is a free resource open and available to each and every one of you guys. I highly recommend all of you guys to be here. You have this huge chat channel here. You can go on Bitcoin, talk all about Bitcoin, talk all about Ethereum, whatever you guys want. But we're having an awesome community develop here, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you guys to be a part of this community, because you guys are contributing every single day with your engagement and your knowledge. So thank you so much for that, guys. And with that being said, guys, that's it for today. We're going to be doing our live stream tonight, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Snipers out.